being a parent, I feel like makes you look at so many things that happened to you as a child that you're like, do I want to keep that tradition going or not? One thing that came up is my daughter lost her first tooth, and I was like, and it kind of took me by surprise because I didn't even realize, we were at that point. But then it happened, and I'm like, oh gosh. And then all of a sudden, this whole thing about like the tooth fairy came up. I'm like, I just don't feel like doing that. Like, does it feel weird to anyone else that like we're lying to our children? And on some level, you're like, oh, it's just fun. Like, it's just for fun. We're just having like a little, it's like a fun thing, a little tooth fairy. And like, I get that. And I'm all about having, like fun with our kids. But just on some level though, it's like we are like lying to them. And I feel like, a lot of, kids then really do think that that's happening when it's not. And then at what point are we then like, oh, that whole thing like wasn't actually real? You know what I mean? It just seems weird. Like on some level, we're telling our kids like, oh, it's okay to like do these little lies just for fun. I don't know. It just doesn't sit right with me. It feels weird. So when she lost her first tooth, we actually had seen a Reading Rainbow where they were talking about this book where this kid lost his tooth, and when he was visiting his family in Africa. And their tradition when they lose their first tooth is that they get a chicken and a rooster, because they're now responsible to care for these two animals and the babies that they'll make. And I'm like, that just like, that has meaning. That means something. Like, I lost my first tooth, which is like an initiation. And this thing happened that like actually has depth and meaning and is like teaching them something. So it's, just like, yeah, this drive of like returning back to culture with meaning. So for Osara, I would have loved to gotten her chicken and a rooster, but unfortunately we live right now. That's not really our circumstance. So one thing that came up for me was to get her like a little treasure box that she could keep her tooth as a treasure in it, and she could also keep other treasures in it, and that she finds, because she's really artistic. And teeth have, meaning in them and spiritual energy. And, at some point maybe she wants to make something with it, or, you know what I mean? But the idea of like, okay, cool, now I took your tooth and I gave you some money and you get a couple bucks, and what am I gonna do with the tooth? Like throw it away? I don't know. It just feels weird. So yeah, I'm just curious what you guys do with like kids losing teeth and, new traditions that you guys make. Love to hear them. All right. Love you, fam. Bye.